Welcome to the Land Cave where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick. I'm solo tonight, as you can probably tell by me stammering, by Owen not interjecting, by no fun puns going on. But I'm here, still giving you gaming news, nerd news, all that fun stuff. Totally didn't realize, by the way, that next week is apparently the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which I keep wanting to call Scarlet Witch in the Multiverse of Madness. But I'm excited about it. There have been alleged spoilers that went around. I've stayed away from those, thankfully, so I don't know, other than the trailer spoilers, which I won't talk about on here. Owen and I have talked about it a little bit, but I realized I did not shave. Either way. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. Hope you got to watch Moon Knight. Last week's episode was an interesting cliffhanger ending. So, but we're going to talk about some gaming stuff, gaming news. That's the wrong one. That's where Owen would have been. So if you're watching live, a little snafu. But that's fine. I've been actually jumping in playing some God of War 2018. It's been on my list because I played a little bit of it and I was like, I like it. And then other things happened. Objectively, great game. I knew it was a great game then. Continuing to enjoy it, but just dove in a little bit the other night, and I don't know what, 5 hours into it now, or 6 hours, I can't remember offhand, but for some reason I forgot how it kind of opens up in regards to, like, you know, where you're going and being able to, like, explore and stuff. For some reason I was remembering it being very linear, so it's still not, you know, an open world game or anything, but I thought that was cool. Or I forgot about that, so it's almost like I'm rediscovering it, which is, I guess, a benefit of only playing a little bit of the game and then forgetting some stuff. We did... What else am I doing? I also... I'm not started my new game plus yet, but I've been playing Elden Ring as Wolverine, and if everyone is interested, if it's something that people think that they think was fun to watch, considering doing a playthrough of Elden Ring as Wolverine, dressed up as Wolverine, because I thought that'd be fun. Cosplay as Wolverine, playing Elden Ring. But yeah, if you didn't know, you can do this without any mods or anything. If you're not aware of what I'm referring to, Elden Ring RPG, blah blah blah. So there are weapons in the game that are what is it? Hook claws? Yeah, hook claws. That they're three pronged, if you will, claws that look exactly like Wolverine's blades, are close enough. This was me just messing around, by the way, but they look close enough that you can, you know, between that and me taking my character and respecking them to look like Hugh Jackman, which, you know, or as close as I could get to it. Also playing this without armor, without a helmet, basically I'm only playing with pants, because I couldn't find any armor that looked enough like Wolverine, and I'm not trying to do like a mod or something like that. I'm trying to legitimately play the game, though I could probably do something like this with a mod. But yeah, the character generator was close enough to be able to do it. I'm not the only person who's done this, but I thought it was kind of funny. So let me know if it's something that you guys would think would be fun to watch. Speaking of things that are fun to watch, as I segue to myself, we had a trailer announcement for Diablo Immortal, the release date for it, and the news that it's coming to PC. Famously, so Diablo Immortal was announced 3 years ago now as a mobile game. So those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Diablo's a PC franchise. It has been on consoles, or a few games have been on consoles. Never been very big on consoles due to control schemes and the player base being very PC centric. So when they announced in 2018, we have a new Diablo game. It's a mobile game. it was met with many groan, and the Q&A is famous for a few things. One of them being someone asking, "Is this a poorly timed April Fool's joke?" And another being the famous response, because so many people were asking, like, "Is there any plan for this to be on PC? Like, is this only mobile?" One of the Q&A people asked, and the response to the groans was basically, "Do you guys not have phones?" So it's become a meme. It's become a thing. This is the guy here. I went ahead and grabbed the video for it, but basically saying, "Is there any chance that this is coming to PC? Is it strictly mobile?" And the responses and everything I've seen, I forgot the guy's name, but this guy's been head of Diablo for a while. If you didn't know, by the way, I'm not purposely like giving this franchise like flack for some reason. I am specifically talking about this because I love Diablo. I love Diablo, and for it's one of my like favorite franchises when it comes to like Blizzard. When people talk about Blizzard and like liking their games, I'm old school. I like World of Warcraft and I like Diablo, and I like Diablo more. I liked Diablo more until World of Warcraft came out, and that's when Warcraft took over, only because of how good it was as an MMO at the time. Which I can't believe that game is now 17 years old. The game was so good at the time. There were other MMOs that were lacking in other ways. EverQuest was the biggest one at the time. I know other people played it and enjoyed EverQuest. I tried it and it wasn't clicking for me, and I think that it was World of Warcraft made it more accessible and an easier. The UI and everything, like, I don't know, it seemed more accessible and more of a carrot on a stick, where games like EverQuest and the Lord of the Rings RPG or MMO was similar to that, where I knew there were things to do, but unless I was going actively to a quest giver, it didn't seem like there was anything for me to do. It didn't feel alive, and somehow World of Warcraft felt alive. At least it did to me. Maybe it was the bright colors and the jovial like characters and stuff, but yeah, World of Warcraft did it for me. But Diablo's been always a big thing. The number one game that I've been playing on my Switch since it came out is Diablo 2. Like, I've been playing that game more than anything else. I have been. There are other games that I've played. Slay the Spire may be second to it in the past year or so, but I've been playing a lot of Diablo 2. It's great, and the fact that game is still held up. All they did was quality of life updates. It's perfect. So I'm hoping that essentially Diablo, what I was bringing up here and it stopped on me. The Diablo. So with Diablo Immortal coming to PC, I think that I think there's a lot of upsides to it. One of the best ones, in my opinion, though, is being able to play it on mobile and play it on PC, and basically take your game on the go with you, which is why I love my Switch. If I can play the game on my PC, whatever's going on, and then take it on the road with me, is awesome. And I say that the flexibility is great to be able to do that. And I will say that even though the last couple times that I've traveled, I've not had a big chance to game while I'm traveling, because I'm actually, I'm either doing something or I'm completely exhausted. It's nice to be able to do that. I bring my Switch with me when I travel. I am probably gonna start bringing my 3DS with me because it's small enough. The Vita is another one that I like to bring with me. For some reason, the Vita feels fragile. The 3DS seemed like it was gonna it wasn't gonna break as easy, and I've got a giant case for my 3DS anyways, so this one that I got like forever, when I got my 3DS XL, which I'm like, okay, this is chunky, but like again, I feel like I'm not gonna break anything when I do that. My Vita case, maybe it's because of the Vita case that I chose, but I feel like it's probably still gonna be fine. This is like, right? It's got no, it's some structure, but it's not. It's probably not going to protect it, so I'm not going to drop my Vita. Either way, like, it's not like I'm traveling and throwing my bags around or anything. But yeah, when I travel, I bring the Switch. I've tried streaming a few times, like through xCloud and some others, and if you're on like if you're in a hotel, like hotel Wi-Fi, airport Wi-Fi, all of that's been trash, so it didn't quite work as well as I would have liked. I'd say if you're staying at someone's house where you're actually getting their internet as opposed to like sharing everyone else's connection, I think you'd probably be fine. If you did like an Airbnb, that's probably what I should do for traveling. But when I travel for work, that doesn't happen. In other news, we finally got announcement for Halo Infinite, the co-op campaign, coming in August. So right now, this has been something that people. I feel like Halo Infinite launched, and it launched in pieces. We got a multiplayer beta that came out, which was great. I just realized, I know I could spend time and get good, and I say that as someone who, I beat Elden Ring, I've beaten all the Souls games, but I've beaten all but one Souls game, so I could, get good, but for some reason, like online multiplayer hasn't been as fun for me lately because I feel like I'm dying like 3 or 4 times for every kill that I make. Battlefront, I was actually doing pretty good in Star Wars, so I was doing better in that. Maybe that's because it was Star Wars, but I've liked Halo. But not being able to play the campaign, not being able to play campaign split screen, that sort of thing, it's just so lacking. The game, like I said, the game to me, it was okay at the start, but they're continuing to add to it. But it's not like, and I know I'm sounding like a fanboy here, but Elden Ring launched and it was great, right off the bat. Skyrim had a lot of issues. They had to fix them. I feel like Halo was if they released most of Skyrim and then they released the rest of Skyrim the next year. I feel like that's what's going on with Halo. Not counting DLC. We're not even talking about DLC. This is content that was planned, that was supposed to be part of the initial launch. And other people are, acting like, oh, well, you just wait for this, wait for that. That's what you do for DLC. That's what you're doing for additional content. This is the content that we all expect out of a Halo game. So it's sad to me and to a lot of other people. I feel like Halo Infinite's going to just kind of fade out, and it's going to be a game that people who play Halo will enjoy, and that's cool. If that's your thing, that's cool. I feel like so many people who used to play Halo and stopped playing probably around ODST, and the people that will go back and play the Master Chief Collection are not digging this. And it's hard when you're in this space where gaming moves so quickly. The meta moves so quickly when it comes to streamers, when it comes to all of that. I feel like they're going to be playing behind because you can't launch a game, and I'm not saying that it was a terrible launch, but I'm saying that I don't think it's doing near as well as it could have done in regards to player base, in regards to the reception. It's been like, oh, what I have is good, but I would like to have all my modes in multiplayer. I'd like to have, which I think they finished adding, but again, just getting getting released in pieces, I don't think it's going to have the staying power. I don't know. I don't feel like it's going to have the staying power because I feel like so many people now who are, if you're playing online, you're playing hero shooters, you're playing like the next thing, the latest thing. I don't think Halo's caught on in that. Actually, I'm curious what's the concurrent players Halo Infinite. I'm seeing what like concurrent players. Okay, 150,000 players. That's not terrible. Okay, sorry, hold on. Right now, 8,600 concurrent players. There's gotta be more. There's gotta be more than that. Oh, that's through the Steam charts. But yeah, it's not dead, but it could be so much bigger, in my opinion, especially Halo. I feel like that, and with the mediocre reception of the Halo TV series, it makes me worried for what the future is going to be, because Master Chief is a big character. And again, saying this as someone who played, I feel like I'm defending myself a lot here, but maybe it's because I'm solo. I played through and beat the first 3 Halo games, actually with my wife. Played through all of those. ODST, we played, I think, like halfway through the game. We did not like it. But this is a great franchise, a great IP that I feel like this could have been like a big renaissance for them. Again, kind of like Elden Ring was for From Software, where they went from from having, what was it, 3 to 4 to 5 million copies sold of the game into 12 million in the first month. I mean, it's I feel like Halo Infinite could have done that, and I'm not talking about a negative way against Game Pass on there. I think Game Pass works to Halo Infinite's advantage, because you don't have to buy it. If you have Game Pass, you can play this game, and I feel like that's working to Halo Infinite's advantage, but still not quite what it should have been, what it could have been, all that jazz. Running through a little bit more of the news this week. Rumor is that Ubisoft is being positioned for acquisition. Is the rumor? Is the latest rumor on this? It's going to be a pretty big one if they are going to purchase it. I don't think Ubi's going to hit as much as Activision did, but for those of you who don't know, I am really bad at apparently of doing the valuation. But yeah, apparently private equity firms are kind of looking at Ubisoft. If they're doing it, they're probably going to be it's going to be a sizable one. I'm going to like I said, I don't think it's going to be near what Microsoft was with Activision, or what they're trying to do, which is still going on. They are still trying to firm that up. I don't think it's going to be quite that big. That was, what was it, 68, 69 million, billion? Sorry, not million, billion. I would put this around like probably, I don't know, 12 to 15. We'll see how good I am in regards to valuation. That's kind of how I'm feeling when it comes to Ubisoft. I'd say 12 or so. But I may be wrong. The fact that Star Wars sold for, what was it, $4 billion, and we're now seeing these video game companies sell for so much more, it's crazy to me as a Star Wars fan, because when I saw they were buying, when Disney bought Star Wars, I thought, wow, that's a lot of money, but it's definitely going to pay off for them. The Activision one, I'm not saying it's a gamble, but that's a steep price to pay for Activision. So yeah, I'd say 12 to 15 for Ubisoft is my feeling. We'll see if they get picked up by a private equity firm. If you don't know what that means it's a private company or conglomerate or group that essentially acquires companies not to merge them. They're buying the company because they think you are valuable, and I want you to succeed, and I want you to make me money. So they would say buy Ubisoft, let's say for $12 billion. and then say invest 5-7 additional billion into Ubisoft. The idea being that they would then be even more profitable because they're getting the backing of they're getting the backing of the firm themselves, because if the firm invests, in that case, let's, again, rough numbers, what, $22 billion in total. If they do that, and then they can actually get a return in say 5 years, again, that's return on investment, right? If your ROI in 5 years is going to be around 40, maybe it's worth it, but that's, again, rough numbers. And it would all depend on what is Ubi going to be releasing in that time. Assassin's Creed Valhalla did amazing. Can you follow that up? Because Odyssey and Origins were good. They're not bad. But yeah, Valhalla is going to be hard to follow up. Far Cry. I feel like Far Cry 6. Well, I know Far Cry 6 didn't do as well in regards to sales. I feel like because it's another Far Cry game. And Far Cry is good, but it's another Far Cry game. If you like Far Cry, that's great. And I say that, again, as someone who loves the Souls games, someone who, people who play, say, Call of Duty may say the same thing about me, where it's like, oh, another From Software game. Okay, good for you. Cool. Like, that's what I mean, really, on this. Like, if you like Far Cry, I am not trying to trash your franchise. I'm just saying that's good for Far Cry, but I don't think that I feel like they hit the formula on the head with 3, and 4 and 5 were great. I think 5 was great, but it was a little stretched thin, little too much rinse and repeat in 5 in comparison to 4 and 3, and I don't know. I need to check out 6. I will say that I will need to check out Far Cry 6 still. So that'll go on my list. Additional news here. I can talk a lot. Additional news here. So there was a tweet and alleged what have you. It hasn't been officially announced that I've seen, but PlayStation, it looks like, has set up a game preservation team. And this coming out of, like I said, an employee had revealed and tweeted out saying, "Today is my first day as a senior build engineer for PlayStation, working as one of their initial hires for the newly created preservation team." And this doesn't have a ton of backing in here, but one of the gaps that the PlayStation's had, and that's why I was playing some Parappa the Rapper here, is that Xbox has done exactly what we as gamers want in regards to gaming preservation, going back all the way to the first Xbox and making sure that almost all of the properties and titles that they've released and optimized so many of them. So I can play on my Xbox Series X, I can play original Xbox OG game, and it works, which means that they're going to make money off those titles further and further and further. PlayStation may be selling more consoles right now, but in regards to the player base, they're not taking care of their players as much. Now, the new PlayStation Plus Premium and all that, the new revamping is going to come out in June. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second. But while that's going to be launching in June, it's going to be launching in June, and it allows for some accessibility to some of these titles. It's streaming only, or it's only part of their program, so you still can't buy them to play outside of it. Also, it's not a full catalog, as opposed to Xbox and Microsoft basically saying, here's our entire our entire catalog, or 98% of our backwards of our catalog of its entirety, 98% complete and ready to go and purchasable. PlayStation hasn't done that. If you want to play PlayStation 3 games, that's the biggest gap. PlayStation 3 games are streaming only. You can't play a PlayStation 3 game natively on PS5. You should be able to emulate it. There are people who are emulating these on decent computers. It's a question of investment. It's a question of investment in getting it to work on PS5 and investing actual resources to develop and work through these issues. And I feel like PlayStation's not putting their resources in that as much until this was announced. I think this is not necessarily a canary in the coal mine, but it's an indicator that PlayStation knows that this is a concern. Excuse me. PlayStation knows that this is not just a concern, but it's something that that people will jump in and play. Some of the games that have been we've had so many games that came out on PS5 that were remasters, so many games that came out on PS4 that were remasters of PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 games, proving that people still want to play the games. They may want some quality of life enhancements, much like I mentioned for Diablo. While that wasn't a... Oh, actually, nope, that was on... Diablo 1 was on PlayStation. It was bad. But we want to play these games. They're still good games. It's quality. I love Parappa the Rappa. They're still fun games, and from a preservation perspective, people who are my generation want to play these games because they grew up on them. People who are younger than us may want to go back and explore the other God of War games, right? Actually, I think they've remastered those and those are available, but there are other games that they may want to dive into and play. NES, SNES, Genesis games, like people buy those. That is a market of people who buy those physical carts. In this case, we're talking about games that you could purchase digitally. It's not and honestly, Nintendo could be doing this as well with theirs. Nintendo's doing it through their subscription plan as well. I'm hoping this means that PlayStation's moving into not only having a bigger catalog, but they were talking about like archiving, because he said so in 2016, 2019, this specific programmer solely led the preservation efforts for the FIFA franchise. So this person, their resume, this is what they do. This is what they're it's important to them. Game preservation is important to them, and it's important to us. What's also important to us is not overworking your employees. And Game Freak, who is the developer for the Pokemon games, is transitioning to an optional 4-day work week, and I think it's wonderful to allow for that. I think that depending on what you're doing for a company, 4 days is probably going to do it. You can put in quality hours, get great work done for those 4 days. There is, in regards to some of what, and I say this as someone who works for a large company, there are some positions where an individual may need to be accessible for 5 days, for the entire work week. And while that's unfortunate, I can understand, depending on what you do, I can understand how even though 4 days would be great, it may not be what that person needs to be able to get the job done. And I say that person because it said optional 4 day. So what I'm assuming there is what they are getting at there is they're going to leave it up to either the individual or the department. Like I said, the majority of the people who are working on this, especially for game developers, they put in a lot of hours because they're passionate about it. But you don't want to overwork your employees. You don't want burnout. Putting in 10 or 12 hours a day, 6 days a week on a passion project is tough. But when you're doing it because you're under the pressure of crunch, it's exhausting, and I can't condone it, obviously. So 4-day work week, optional 4-day work week, do it. It's awesome. I hope more companies move into something like that, where we can understand and respect our workers and say, you got your work done, you're good. I can't tell you how many times, in every office job that I've been at, where let's say you get Christmas Day, Christmas Eve off, and those days fall on Thursday, Friday, and it's Wednesday, and you're all just like, are we like getting out early? And yeah, so it's like, well, so instead of having 2 days, you had 2.5 days. So what I mean by that is, like, if you miss, if someone's putting in some quality work 4 days out of the week, as long as they're not needed, or they have someone who can back up what they do on that other day, and you have an overlap where one person's off Friday, one person's off Monday, maybe you get a Wednesday off in the middle of the week was awesome. I used to do that because you work a couple days, you get a day off. You work a couple days, you get 2 days off. I liked it. Some people prefer the 3 day, but either way, having that as an option for people who are putting quality work in allows for them to continue putting quality work in at their company, and be able to get better, not only better work out of an employee, because I'm not talking about like draining an employee of their life force, but you get better quality work out of them. They're going to perform better, if you will, however you want to phrase that, and they're going to be with your company longer if you're taking care of them. If you take care of your employees, they stay longer. Your valuable employees will leave, especially if you're not teaching. I mean, they're going to leave because there's probably they're going to grow. There's something big going on out there. And if you're not taking care of them monetarily and through these types of benefits, you're going to lose them. Especially now, people going back into the office, with COVID, not being allowed to work from home, either in a flexible thing or just completely at home. Companies who are just saying go right back into the workforce, go back into the office when you did the job remotely for 2 years. Flexible schedule, flexible hybrid approach. I'm all about it. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. What you think about all the other news this week. Have you been playing a game that you really like and that we're not talking about? Let us know in the comments. We'll see you next time.